Hi, welcome to Smart Mouth. I'm Kelly Gallagher, speech language pathologist, and today's topic, 5 tips to help picky eaters, part 1. Tip number 1, don't panic. Picky eating can be pretty tough to deal with. Food is expensive, it can get pretty wasteful if you're throwing away food at each meal, and plus, you spent all of that time making the food, and then the child just sits down and goes, ew. You're also worried. You're worried whether or not they're getting enough nutrition or whether they're growing at the rate that they should. All of those worries lottery balling around in your head while you're staring at your child as they eat is only going to make them nervous. And food should be a fun time for kids. So you don't want to make them nervous at all. Tip number 2, rule out a medical reason. If you really are concerned that if there's a medical reason for your child's picky eating, there are certain assessments that can be done by a doctor, including a modified barium swallow, which looks at all 3 stages of the swallow. And there's also feeding therapy, which is done by a speech pathologist or an occupational therapist that can often aid you in this. Cause isn't always a medical reason. It doesn't have to be a disorder with the swallowing mechanism itself. It could be that the child's teeth are sensitive, and so whatever food they're trying is too cold or too sweet for their teeth and it's bothering them. Or it could be something called the frenulum, which is the little line in the middle of your tongue right here at the very bottom, and it can affect the tongue's mobility in the mouth, which impacts a child's ability to sort of move the food around in their mouth in order to swallow safely. Tip number 3, investigate. There could be many reasons that the child isn't eating certain foods, and pay attention to any patterns that you can find. Maybe they only want to eat crunchy foods, or they only want to eat red foods. I've seen that one before. Or maybe some foods are too mushy for them, or they don't like it when their food mixes, or maybe it's the appearance or the smell. Many things could be going on, and so try to figure out if you can see any patterns in how your child is eating, because that could help you in the future. Tip number 4 is journaling. Once you have figured out some of these patterns that you see in your child, write them down. Keep a food journal, see what they're eating at what times, because maybe that impacts something. And then when you do get to a place like feeding therapy or even your own analysis, then you'll be able to see what kinds of food your child will eat, what kinds they absolutely won't eat, and then maybe you can figure out ways to make the stuff that they don't eat appear or smell or seem a little bit more like the ones that they do. Tip number 5, keep the pressure off. Especially if this issue has been going on for a little while, meal times could probably be an especially difficult time in your household. But power struggles will only erode trust between both of you and potentially drive a wedge between you and your child. So, as much as you can, serve whatever you're going to serve, but keep the pressure to eat foods, especially new foods, off of the child so that they feel a little bit more at ease at the table. Thank you so much for tuning into this video. If you have any questions or thoughts, go ahead and leave them in the comment box down below. And if you like this content and you'd like to see more of it, please give the video a like, subscribe, and hit that notification bell, and I will see you in the next one.